Good evening, fellow Lions and friends. We are back with our virtual leadership series. Welcome to the fourth episode. Again, I am Lion Rohel Bautista, the current Global Leadership Team Coordinator of District 16J, and I am happy to co-host this virtual leadership series with our District Governor, Lion Varsha. This month is Diabetes Awareness Month, and we just celebrated the World Diabetes Day last November 14. This evening's episode will focus on managing our diabetes awareness initiatives in our clubs and districts, and also on the personal level. As we may all know, diabetes is one of the Lion's global causes. We serve to reduce the prevalence of diabetes and improve quality of life for those diagnosed. As our LCI website states, an estimated 463 million adults across the world are living with diabetes, and its prevalence is increasing rapidly. By 2045, the number is expected to reach 400 million. Lions Clubs International and Lions Clubs International Foundation, or LCIF, are dedicated to empowering lions and Leos around the world to fight diabetes by serving their communities one by one. We have invited wonderful speakers to share their knowledge on leadership in or managing our diabetes awareness initiatives. Let's start the program with our District Governor, Lion Varsha Naik.
Good evening.
Good evening, DJ Varsha. How are you doing this evening?
I am good, and thank you so much for conducting this leadership series. And we are really very fortunate that you are doing it with such a great enthusiasm. And November is a diabetes awareness month all over the world. And our today's series is focused on diabetes awareness and how a district can be a part of the diabetes awareness program. However, multiple district can be a part of diabetes awareness program, and how we can advocate this. So there are so many ways to spread the message. People go for a social media, people create events, people create talk shows like us. So there are so many ways to spread the message, how we can advocate the diabetes awareness program, because diabetes is a chronic disease. It is a slow poison, and there are so many people, as you already mentioned, about how many people are suffering from diabetes, and we have to take care of that. As a leader of Lions Club International, it is our global initiative to spread the message about diabetes awareness. So this is the perfect time. And lastly, I'm going to say diabetes awareness is not only this is the November month and we just work on the diabetes awareness. No, we have to work throughout the year. It is not only for only November and we can just sit back. We have to work whole year, and District 16J is really doing so much of stuff for the diabetes. And in today's episode, we will learning more about how a leadership can, moving forward in diabetes awareness programs. And I'm so glad we have so many wonderful speakers. And without any ado, I'm going to invite our moderator, Lion Donna Fredel. Lion Donna Fredel is a second vice district governor of District 16L and a multiple District 16's diabetes chairperson. So welcome, Donna. And we are really happy to see you. And we really wanted to learn how we can move forward with the diabetes awareness initiative.
Thank you so much, District Governor Varsha, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate tonight. I will be the moderator, and I have the pleasure of introducing our speakers, but I'm also just want to take a moment as the diabetes chairperson in 16, Multi-District 16, to talk a little bit about, as Varsha said, diabetes, and Rohel said, diabetes affects so many people, millions of people. One of the scary things about type 2 is that a person may not even know. Many of the people who have it do not know it, so they're not taking action to treat it and to prevent it. The other problem is with type 1 diabetes, it can kill you. And there's so many things. You need insulin to live, and insulin in this country is extremely expensive. It's many times more expensive than it is in every other nation. And this is something that we want to raise awareness about, and we want to take action. And we're going to be hearing from some exciting Lions who have found a way to both raise awareness and to take action, because it's a twofold project from Lions International. We call it action and awareness because we want to do both. We don't want people out there who don't know they have diabetes. We don't want people to suffer alone, and we want to help them. One of the main ways as Lions that we help with type 1 diabetes is that we support JDRF. That organization has been around a long time. It stands for Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And it's a private nonprofit that helps raise money to find a cure for diabetes. Right now, there is no cure for this life-threatening disease that is type 1 diabetes. And it is very important that we do that, because even with the best of control, even with insulin, people with type 1 diabetes suffer tremendous side effects, and disabilities can arise from blindness, from amputation, gastrointestinal problems, all those things. So we support JDRF, which is independent research. Their job, their only goal is to cure it. And that is important. They're not making money from treating it. They're not doing anything other than to help those who are suffering. And there are various projects that are on LCI's website that tells you at the club level what you can do, or what the district level. In Multi-District 16, for the past 5 years, we have held a large Strides event where our clubs have raised money, and we have raised tens of thousands of dollars for JDRF, which goes to the research in helping with this disease. I could talk for hours about this, but right now I have the extreme pleasure of introducing our first speaker, who is Terry Huffman, District Governor of 11B1. She's been a Lion for nearly 5 years. She's a district governor, and she's been a Lion for almost 5 years. She is a charter president of the First Diabetes Specialty Club in Michigan. She's a retired corrections officer in the Michigan Department of Corrections, where she was assistant deputy warden. So she obviously knows how to lead a group of people. She's a resident unit manager and a probation officer, and she is the mother of 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. So now, please, we give a Lion welcome to District Governor Terry Huffman.
Thank you so much, Donna. It was wonderful to hear you talk about JDRF, because that's how I started my advocacy for my son, was through JDRF, Walk for the Cures, 25 years ago. So I've been a volunteer with them before being a Lion, and that brought me into how I became a Lion. Was I was looking for a donation. So what I'm here to talk about is starting a diabetes club. So I'm just going to kind of go over the process that we went through. Now, mind you, on the LCIF or LCI website, there is a whole breakdown as to how you start a new club. All kinds of community resources that you can access through the website. And I would really encourage you to go and print those off and have them as a resource for you. But on the down low on the club level, when you're starting to think about it, there are some things that you need to do. And the first thing that we found in both clubs was to find that spark plug, to find that person that is going to be your biggest advocate. In the first club, that is how I became a Lion. I became the diabetes chair for the district. As a new member, the diabetes chair was wanting to step down, and I had the ability to do that job, so I stepped in. Then what we did was they identified me as the spark plug for that first club. So what I did was reached out to the community through Facebook. I sat and went through my friends on Facebook. I put out there that we were having an informational meeting, and we had a few of them. The first ones, there was just a few people, and as time went on, we gathered more people, and more people became interested in what we were working towards. You had to have the mission identified for your club. And because it's a specialty club, you're talking about or to a special group of people. You're talking to people whose lives have typically been impacted by diabetes. So I would look for people that are in your community that speak to the mission, which is education for the diabetics, physical fitness, prevention, nutrition, exercise. Those are the kind of people that you want to talk with. Those are the people that you want to have on your team to advocate. So we looked at people through the Department of Aging. I'm from the state of Michigan. So we have a Department of Aging, and we have other types of social services agencies. So we started looking at professionals to bring in that could help us set up programs within the club so that we could reach out in the community right away. And although we still provided eyeglass care and hearing aids and other advocacies through the Lions, just because you're a specialty club doesn't mean you don't do all those other things. So once you have your mission statement, you've got your spark plug, then you have to make sure that you have a sound orientation so that whoever is coming into your club understands what Lionism is all about. You have to make sure that they have the history of Lions so that when it comes down to the club level and they understand what you're going to be doing in the community for diabetes and how you can do it, they have a bigger understanding of what the platform is all about. You need to develop the leaders in the club first. You need to identify who those leaders are going to be, because they're going to set the tone of the club. They're going to set the sense of commitment to the cause of diabetes education and prevention. So once you identified your leaders, then when you're having your informational meetings, they can talk and inform the members that show up, potential members that show up, what the club is going to be all about. Then you need to look at developing a focus for your members so that they can get into service right away. It is important that people have an understanding of what they're going to do, and they're just not going to be doing meetings. And when you're starting a club, it's kind of hard because there is a lot of meetings involved, and you have to get the whole platform built up to develop a club. And that's why I encourage you to get the whole plan and kit off of the website, and that will help you. You can also start a branch club. You need 20 members to start a specialty club. You also can start a branch club, which only takes 5 members, and then you can build from there. It just depends on if you have 5 leaders that are ready to commit to a group on their own, start a branch club and let them build a membership on their own. And as they go, then they can also work more on their platform. You can have meetings in person. We've all developed the fine art of having Zoom meetings, and I think that is a really good way to start bringing in people into the new orientation. You can do orientation several times as you're getting the club developed. You don't have to have one big orientation. You can have several along the way. You need to also identify the specialty on to LCI when you turn in your paperwork to LCI. You need to identify that you are a specialty club. And by doing this, you can get special assistance from LCI also. What I have found is when you let people know that you are advocating for healthier lifestyles, you're going to reach a whole new group of people. When you talk about the uninsured and underinsured in your community and how you're going to work to reach out to them, to provide them a better level of information about how to advocate for changes in diabetes, like Lion Donna spoke of, there is no cure for type 1 diabetes. But as a mother of a type 1 diabetic, I am truly convinced, and I will advocate till my last breath for the cure. And that's why we raise money. And you have to have that passion to bring people onto your team about Lions. You have to believe in what you're doing as a Lion and that how it impacts your communities. And that's what you want your new members to feel from that attitude of your leaders. So I hope this has helped you in starting a new club in your area. It's no different than starting a regular club, but you just need that spark plug, and you need to make sure that those people that you are bringing onto the team understand that you are advocating for diabetes and healthier lifestyles.
District Governor Terry, thank you so much. I was taking a lot of notes during your talk myself. We belong to a club that we never thought we'd belong to as moms, which is moms of type 1 diabetics. I have 2.
Yeah.
And
Goodness.
it changed from the day of the first diagnosis. It changes your life as a mom because that is a major goal. So I highly encourage Lions to think about that, because you're not going to get a more committed Lion than one who's going to help you work toward a cure for this disease.
Right.
And when I go out and speak to groups about type 2 diabetes, everyone's life, everyone knows someone or their own life as we get older. That is another grim reality of a disease that can hit anyone, and you need to bring that awareness out there. But I have a special connection now with District Governor Terry, because I do know what that's like. And that's probably why we both serve in the roles that we do.
I'm sure.
Our next speaker is, I'm very excited to introduce Lion Gloria Hermoso. She's a past president and a current director, and also a charter member of the Somerville Metro Lions of District 16J. Gloria is a retired nurse, also from Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in Somerset, which gives her a unique perspective also on diabetes and the goals that we're talking about today. And what Gloria is going to be talking to us about is what you can do at the club level. And this is for officers and directors and every line to think about taking the actions that Gloria is going to give you some tips on. So I now welcome, with great pleasure, Lion Gloria.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. District Governor Varsha Naik, our Lion Donna, Lion Terry Hoffman, and of course, our GLT chair, Rahel Bautista, and all my fellow Lions and friends. Good evening. Uh, Thank you for inviting me to this presentation. I'm honored to represent my club, it's Somerville Metro Lions Club. And I'm Gloria Hermoso, you can see my name there. And I'm a retired nurse, like Dana said, Lion Dana mentioned. And I have over 50 years of experience in nursing on the fields of critical care and emergency nursing. So I'm excited to be able to bring my experience and my educational background to all our club service projects, especially our diabetes initiative. So, like looking back to what Dana said about the stats on diabetes, I just want to say that um, 1 in 10 Americans have diabetes, and 1 in 3 have prediabetes, and they don't even know it. So, my goal tonight is to increase our ability as Lions clubs to disseminate information on diabetes to individuals and to the community as a whole by sharing our Lions Club's project on diabetes, which is in the forming stage. We hope to work together as Lions. Thereby, we can multiply our efforts so that we can reach more people in the community. So we start out we started our diabetes awareness project journey uh, only this year, and in fact, with the help of District Governor Varsha, we launched our first project, Zumba in the Park, last September. Thank you so much, District Governor Varsha. We did have fun. As you can see, we're still in the forming stage of our project. And you can say our next step is brainstorming, where we will put all our ideas together so that we can sort out the details of the project. So it's in the making. Now, for the sake of clarity, I will just outline areas where we will be brainstorming. It's a proposal, it's a plan. And from my background as a nurse, we always start with assessment of needs. So I will use that. So we assess the needs of the community. What do we need? And then as soon as we gather them, we go to the next step, make a plan based on these needs. And then when the plan is done, organized and all, we implement. And you think that's done, but no, it's evaluation, it's revolving. So it seems like it's an easy process, but actually, I will just go over through the each step, and particularly as we apply it to our project. Assessment of needs. Basically, this answers the why, the what, the how, when, and where, among all others. Now, the why and the what we already know based on the implications that have been stressed by the World Health Organization, our CDC, and a call to action areas, pretty much like our service areas. Now, who are vulnerable? Who are the team members that are committed at our club level and our district level and multi-district level? So, who are the organizers? Now I know it's Lion Dara. And who are the educators, the presenters for that program? What are the methods and strategies that we can do as for this? What are the resources that are available around us that are related to the topic that we want to relay? Now, of course, one part is I always say at work, educate the educator. So, being part of the program, we have to know. We have to be prepared to answer questions like, wow, what can I do to reduce my risk? And there you go. You can spit out everything that you know. Now, once we identify the areas, we put them all together and go to the next stage with planning. So we plan, organize the topics, get presenters, talk to our speakers, educators, health professionals in their own expertise. So us being our club being comprised of a majority of nurses, we concluded that we will tap our educators. And most of our members work in the hospital, so they know a lot of people that can help us. So, what are the methods and strategies? What resources are available? Like I mentioned that. Now we are at the planning stage. So once we identify, put all together the topics, then we go to identifying the target audience. Now, based on our prevalence studies produced by our CDC and the World Health Organization, the vulnerable ones are the diabetics, the pre-diabetics of all ages, and of also the healthy, practically everyone. So when once we know the target audience, then we know their location. Where are they? The concept that I have in mind is to bring the presentation to them instead of picking up a place and let them come. We go to them. So one member suggested, let's go to the schools, the PTA, the 4-H fair, the street fair, uh, and so on. So she had a lot of suggestions, and we will take that part of our ideas. Then, as soon as we identify the target audience, then we can contact them, set the date and time, contact our speakers, our committees, our organizers, and then we can put together a plan, and we can actually line them up in a calendar of events. It can be a long one. If you have many, then you can fill the whole year. But if it's you are just like for us, like we're just starting, it may take a lot, organizing first before we proceed. Now, what are the methods? It will depend on the group. So if it's an adult group, we can do the formal presentation with all the trimmings. But if we have the youth, we can probably use dialogues, informal discussions. And at the PTA, that's our target also for those who have the type 1 diabetes, that's a good resource area. So we have some, I was suggesting a toolkit where we have a list of all the resources in the area. Where are the local groups? Where are the exercise groups? Where are the weight loss programs, the diet classes, any professional or government uh, uh, la, sessions? So we can also look at online programs. There are a lot on LCI and on the other American Diabetes Association. So we have to be all familiar with those. Now, the next part, once we have all the plan organized and put together, then we can implement. Now, the first two steps are the hardest ones because there's a lot of planning to do and organizing to do. But once we have them all together, implementation is a breeze. You call the place, you have your calendar of events, organize, set up all the schedule, call your educators and all that. We go to the place, you give our presentation. Then that's when you pull out your toolkit and your referrals that you have. It should be appropriate for the needs of that particular audience. When they come to you, you have what you have available. Then we always go to a question and answer like typical of most presentations. Now, we think that that is done. Then we are all done. We went to the presentation, but of course, we have the post-event analysis, and we usually do this uh, at the meeting after the events for all our projects. So we can do the same thing for this. Now, this is our overall tentative plan that I put together with a few members' suggestions, and we will bring it to the floor for brainstorming at our next meetings. It could be a series of meetings. So before I close, I would encourage everyone, if you haven't done yet, take a risk assessment online. It is diabetes.org risk test. Or you can go to CDC and find that. It will be very informational for you. Now, in closing, I would like to stress the World Health Organization's message and call to action. They say diabetes is an epidemic. And just like COVID-19, we need to bend the curve. And the time is now. Thank you.
Gloria, that was outstanding. Thank you so much. And what particularly impressed me is how well you followed a lot of the guidance for what we're told to do in the step-by-step part of a project, which begins with an assessment of need. And I hope that everyone listening paid attention, because people can sit around and talk about let's do this, but the first step is what is needed in the community that you find yourself in. So you really went through the perfect analysis of assessing the need and making a plan that picks a topic, but also looks at the resources you have. You talked about having the nurses and medical professionals, and that's part of your resources to when you're selecting something. If it's a group that doesn't have anyone with any medical knowledge, they might pick something different. So, and I don't want to repeat everything, but I was really taken with your step-by-step outline of how someone can do this, and including the feedback. When you after it's done, you sit and say, what worked, what could we do better, and how do we move forward if we're going to do this again? So thank you so much for providing so much wonderful information for our clubs, and I hope they all took the same detailed notes that I did. And as you said, they can look at LCI, which will give them some ideas on how to plan any kind of diabetes project, and also that risk assessment for diabetes to find out if you are at risk of developing it or maybe you have it. Can you give that website again?
It's diabetes.org/risk assessment, a risk test. Or you can also type in the CDC website and look for risk assessment. And it's also available in the American Diabetes Association. And going back to that process that you talk about, Dana, that's our background as nurses. We call it the nursing process.
That's right.
When we take care of patients, we do the same thing.
You kind of do your own SOAP analysis before you.
Oh, you're familiar. Are you a nurse?
I worked in hospitals.
Oh, okay.
So, but absolutely, that is the background of someone who's basically a science approach and a medical approach is to evaluate, and then what's the plan and how do you plan on achieving it. So thank you, and for sharing your expertise with everyone.
You're welcome, and thank you for this opportunity.
Well, we've already heard from two fantastic speakers, and we have two more fantastic speakers ahead. The future of Lions is in our young people, and our young people future is with the Leos. So I'm thrilled that our next speaker is Leo Humna Poonawalla. She's a member of the Menlo Park Leo Club. Humna is a junior at John P. Stevens High School. She's an active member of the Lions Club International and an eager advocate for diabetes awareness in her community and the world at large. And so she's going to be talking about what she sees as possibilities for advocacy and how to reach out to people. So again, let's give a warm welcome to this young, outstanding leader in Lions.
Hello, thank you for the amazing introduction. I'm Leo Humna Poonawalla, and I wanted to elaborate more about diabetes awareness as a whole, but more specifically, what we as youth can do in our communities. To start off with, let's put this into perspective. According to the World Health Organization, around 422 million people across the globe are diagnosed with diabetes, with the majority living in low and middle income countries. This really shows us the extent to which diabetes plays a role in people's lives. I personally have loved ones with diabetes. As such, I know what diabetes really is, know its effects, and know the long-lasting implications of this condition. And I also know that there are so many others across the nation experiencing the same thing. It is a common misconception to think that only people over 45 years of age are at the most risk. One usually sees talk shows and discussions that pertain to diabetes applied to only older adults in hopes of reducing its widespread existence. However, it is absolutely essential to note that the fight against diabetes starts with prevention. Prevention that starts from childhood. According to the United States National Institute of Health, studies showed that younger minds are more impressionable than their older counterparts. This shows that youth are more likely to accept facts presented to them and take action. We need to focus on educating the youth of New Jersey, the youth of America, and the youth of the world at large. This comes in the form of presentations, infographics, class discussions, all of the above, to really teach children about the science behind diabetes, but more importantly, how to lead a lifestyle that deflects this disease. Now, I'm thrilled to say that our very own Menlo Park Leo's Club has held one of our monthly talk shows in relation to diabetes. We, as leaders in our community, took charge and spread knowledge about the types of diabetes, those who are at most risk, and what actions you can take to teach even more people around you about it. Throughout the presentation, we touched upon the lives of those who have had to live through this condition, how their day-to-day lives were completely transformed by diabetes. In the future, we plan on hosting a wider variety of in-person events that reach a broader audience. We plan on having a run for diabetes, a Jeopardy on the topic, and informational fairs packed with representatives advocating for our cause. We want to take it even further to visit other countries, to really have those face-to-face interactions with those who may be affected, and show how us Lions can help them in their journeys. But it doesn't just end there. Social media is a tool more powerful than practically anything we've ever seen. It has the power to reach millions, if not billions, of people across nations with a click of a button. It gives everyone a say in the world and the ability to affect the lives of many others. Use platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of the above to spread awareness of diabetes. I am here today to empower each and all individuals to use your freedom of speech, the freedom of your own voice. You need to be heard and you need to advocate in order to take a more active role in your community and spread awareness of diabetes at large. Advocate for causes that you are passionate about. If we as an interconnected global society want to reduce the risk and number of people afflicted with diabetes, it starts with us Lions. Form a group in your neighborhood, make flyers, make videos, post on social media, any form of communication to get the word out. Because we want each and every single person in our world to learn about this condition and empower others to win the fight against diabetes. Learn about the subject, shape your actions, make a change today. Thank you. Lion Donna, I think you might be muted.
Thanks. I'm doing that so I don't interrupt your presentations. I keep forgetting to take it off. I want to say your excitement and enthusiasm, in addition to your clear leadership, are an inspiration to us and thrilling. And your ideas that you shared, I hope, again, that people are taking note of them. The use of social media is so important because your audience can be so large. But you also had some fun ideas in there too, like a Jeopardy and the runs and things like that. District Governor Terry and I, we've done walks for decades, but we need the fresh blood and the fresh enthusiasm is what's going to be needed, and particularly to educate people. And so it's exciting that you're doing this and that your club is focusing on this. And I've always said that young people show more commitment to social issues and to helping others. And you are a shining example of that. So thank you so much. Our next speaker is, again, another exciting and very active young Leo, which is Camilla Sanderkar. And she is secretary of the Menlo Park Leo Club and a proud Girl Scout for the last 7 years. And kudos to her for that, because that's so exciting, because Girl Scouts do so much good and have so many aligned interests with Lions. She's a Silver Award winner for community service during the COVID pandemic. She's passionate about helping others and about community service. And she's going to be giving us some more ideas and some more information about what young people are doing and what the Leos are up to in this important area of diabetes action and awareness. So Camilla, please join us now.
Hi all, thank you, Lion Donna, for inviting me. So I would like to continue on about what Leo Humna was talking about and the use of social media and to educate children. So educating children as well as adults is very important because many people out there still don't know about diabetes and how to prevent it or how to help themselves. So these ways can help them get resources and different materials so that they can have a better lifestyle. And one of these many resources is to learn how to maintain a good diet and have proper exercise, as well as knowing what the proper medications are and what the proper ways to prevent these diseases are. Many people can create fundraisers and different ways to bring up the idea of diabetes among children, because many children out there are exposed to diabetes at such a young age, and they don't have lots of resources and the knowledge to help themselves. So with the help of social media, as Leo Humna mentioned, and with the help of Lions and other organizations, everyone can help inform other people. So continuing on that point, everyone can use social media as talked about. It can reach many people, and not like just social media, but also fundraisers and different activities to reach out to others. And also, not only does diabetes affect adults, it also affects children. So they can be more informed and help other people learn about it too. Once we teach someone, they can teach another, and we can spread it around the globe. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and you're absolutely right. We need to reach very young people. As Lions, we might look at you and Humna and think, well, you're young people, but the reality is diabetes awareness has to start at an even younger age. And the best way to reach people who are very young is with people like yourself. And my son was diagnosed at age 1 and with diabetes, and he almost died because people weren't even aware of what to look for. And many people are building the habits today that are going to lead them to being pre-diabetic and diabetic. So you're absolutely outstanding in your commitment to teaching and reaching this generation that's coming along, so that we do not have this epidemic And we have to flatten the curve, as Gloria said, on diabetes, because type 2 diabetes is hitting young people because of our diet and because of our changed lifestyles. So the projects that you're doing as a Leo are fantastic in combating that on the front lines, and where, to prevent diabetes being as bad as it is in the generations to come. So thank you for your presentation and for your commitment to this cause. We've had some great ideas tonight, and you saw a breadth of activity in what people are doing and in the people who are doing this work. And I hope that it's inspired you to look into what you can do as a Lion, as a Leo, as a person, as what you can do to help in this area of Lionism, which is diabetes action and awareness. We've had some fantastic ideas. The younger people encouraging us to look to social media. And that is something that, as they said, we can reach everyone of all ages and in all locations. And with Gloria and Terry talking about starting a specialty club. And also when you have your own club, how to have a successful project. So all of these ideas have immediate use and immediate application for you. So tonight's Leadership Forum gave you some real meat to use and to apply in order that we can reach a day when diabetes is not an epidemic. And what we look for is when, instead of type 1 and type 2, we have type none. So thank you very much. And I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Rahel.
Thank you, Lion Donna. Wow, I could sit here all night listening to all the talks. I just love my job hosting. I'm learning so much with these episodes. Thank you, Second Vice District Governor, Lion Donna, for wonderfully moderating tonight's episode. And thank you to our panelists for your time and effort and sharing your knowledge on our special topic for tonight's episode. DG or District Governor Terry Huffman, all the way from Michigan. Lion Gloria Hermoso from Somerville Metro Lions Club, and our wonderful Leos, Hamna Punawala and Kimaya Sondukar. This has been another educational, enlightening, and inspiring event. DG Varsha, do you have any last thoughts?
First of all, thank you so much, Lion Donna, Second VDG, Rohel, Terry, Gloria, Humna, Kimia, and all the audience who are watching this episode. Thank you so much for joining. This is an endless topic. 1 hour is very less to advocate people. But if you can just multiply our knowledge to our other peers and other Lions Club member, how you can spread the message of controlling the diabetes. Prevention is important. Humna said prevention is really important. I'm a diabetic for last 24 or 25 years when I don't remember I'm type 1 or type 2 because never diagnosed. When I diagnosed, I was 24-year-old. So it might be type 1, might be type 2, I don't know. But I'm controlling my diabetes with the self-management. So it is very important. Everybody try to find out your own ways and try to advocate people, educate people. I educate myself 20 years before how I can control my diabetes and blood sugar, and I really want everybody to take advantage of Lions Club's initiative of spreading the message of diabetes awareness. We have so many resources available. You can create an educational program, create a symposium, educate people, and stay active and stay healthy. And I really like it, VDG Donna, you said no type 1, no type 2, zero type diabetes. So we should get rid of diabetes as soon as possible. And if we can work together, yes, somehow some years we can able to control this thing. If we have a self-control, first of all, self-control on ourselves, because it is our own body, our own thing. So again, thank you so much on behalf of 16J team. Thank you, Donna. And thank you everybody. And special thank to GLTD Rohel Bautista. Thank you so much for coming up with the great ideas of leadership. And it is really educational. So now the forum is open. If Humna have any question to Terry have any question to Donna, we can start conversation with amongst each other. And thank you so much, Lion Pratibha, for your tech support.
Thank you.
Donna, how old are your sons now?
It's actually my son and my daughter. I have 2 of 3 children. He's now 33. He was diagnosed at 1, so he's been diabetic for 32 years. And you know, one of the issues there is, even when we asked the doctors if he possibly could have diabetes, because he had all the classic symptoms, they didn't know. And they said, oh, babies don't get diabetes.
Oh, goodness.
Which I'm sure Gloria's like, right? So when we had a second child, we were panicked that, you know, always checking her. And by the time she reached 6, 7, we thought, okay, she's okay. And then she was diagnosed at age 8, and it was a friend who pointed out to me. She's now, both of them, some of the struggles you don't think of, and Humna mentioned, I think I understood that she's diabetic. Going on a school trip, you know, having to have plan for when you can have your insulin during the school day and test your sugars. All those things are a day-to-day problem for type 1 diabetics. Your insulin dependence is not something that you can get away from. You can't do anything but have access to your insulin. Type 2 diabetics have all different challenges. But how old was your child when they were diagnosed?
My son was 4 and I didn't know what diabetes was. And by the time I got him to the doctor, his sugar was 806.
Wow.
So it was really bad. And then, but that was 25 years ago, and he just had his first child. And so the advancements through JDRF's research is that there is no testing that can be done for the baby to see if he contains the genetic predisposition for it. So we are definitely going to be, there's a kit you can buy now for pre-screening. I don't know if it was just University of Michigan, but I learned about it from University of Michigan seminars.
The JDRF website has information on this. In fact, when we had a presentation in the spring that Varsha was part of, someone from JDRF spoke, and they talked about that. That is cutting edge right now.
Right.
Is you know, because then you can be on the lookout for it.
Right.
There's a genetic predisposition, but then there's often going to be a trigger. You know, so you may go years and never have it, but also they're hoping that there's steps you can take to delay it, because the longer you delay the onset of type 1, the less serious side effects you could have and consequences. So, and let me just again make a push for JDRF. It is the research foundation. They do a lot of activities, and Lions have their own special event called Strides. And they they have Strides pins, they have Strides banner patches, they have the whole outline. You know, Gloria talked about how to plan an event. They've done the work for you, and they will help you do a Strides event and reward you for what you do, because fundraising isn't just fundraising. It raises awareness. Right. You know, when we were, as Lions at our convention, we walked the boardwalk with our banners and our things saying we're doing this for JDRF, and we can let people know about diabetes and about why we're doing this, then that might spur someone to do more and to learn more. Right. And especially you'll see on social media, let me just loop that right in there for our Leos. When we promote it on social media, we also give the links to where people can find that test to find out if they have a predisposition, where they can do the risk assessment for getting it that Gloria talked about. All those are wonderful things that we want to spread far and wide, especially among demographics that don't have this information readily available to them, as Humna and Himaya both mentioned, is that we have to reach people who aren't going to get this information. You and I became experts in diabetes because we had to, but there's so many people who don't know, and you can die if you do not get the information that you need to have.
Lion Donna, for our viewers, what is JDRF again? Just for the sake of our viewers wondering what it stands for.
It stands for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Previously, we used to call type 1 juvenile diabetes, even though you can get type 1 or juvenile diabetes for the first time when you're 40 or any age, really. And you can get type 2 as a young person. So but we keep that name because that has been the name for decades. But it's the Research Foundation, and they do the fundraising in order to find things like the test that will tell you genetically whether you're predisposed to get it. They also help with things like the developments we have had, like the 24/7 monitor now. So you can tell if you're going to have, that is a life-saving device. And that is the type of thing that JDRF is helping to make available to many people, even if insurance will not cover it, and their advocacy to help fight for better insulin prices. Okay, and again, the knowledge, the things that they can do that overlap. But Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, if they just go to www.jdrf.org, you'll see a lot of wonderful information that will help you in this area.
Thank you, Lion Donna, for the added information on that area. Well, as we all say, all great things come to an end, right? To all our viewers, thank you again for joining us this evening. If you have any further questions or comments, please put them in the comment section below or email us at district16j@gmail.com. Again, district16j@gmail.com. And as always, we appreciate receiving your feedback so we could improve our process. Before we close this episode, I would like to share a quote from our 26th President, Theodore Roosevelt. "Believe you can, and you are halfway there." Have a good evening, everyone. Be safe, be well, and take care.